All right, welcome everybody to the Hello Game Day podcast. It is a massive day for me, a massive milestone having another Brisbane Lions player on after we had Jared Lyons on a few weeks ago. A lot of you will know that I'm a big Brizzy supporter. I was at the Richmond-Brisbane game on the weekend and I am still absolutely shaking from it. So, Poncho, give Callum Ah Chee the welcome that he deserves.
We are absolutely excited. So he's a South Fremantle boy. He got picked up from the Waffle, pick 8 in the 2015 draft for the Gold Coast Suns. He spent 4 seasons there before moving up to Brisbane, Vegas, where he now finds himself on the dawn of a prelim coming up in a couple of weeks. So, Cal, give us a hello game day.
Hello game day, boys.
Thank you very much. Now, we don't mess around as per usual. We get into the stitch-up straight away. So the first one that I've got for you, and this was in your first year with fines at the Gold Coast Suns, and they made you roll the dice. And what I heard was that you and Scoers both rolled the same punishment. And so I'd like to give you the floor on the repercussions of the dice roll.
Yeah, this was gross. We literally didn't do anything wrong. What we did wrong was we got drafted. That was the punishment. So we had to roll the dice. And me and Scoey were living together at the time. And if everyone knows, Pack Fair on the Gold Coast is like probably the biggest shopping centre in Australia, one of them. And the punishment was get dressed up, full kit, like proper playing Guernsey, socks, boots, and rock up and go ask people if they wanted autographs. And we're like waiting around, like hopefully like someone please just come and ask us for a photo so we don't have to actually like go and ask people. No one did. So we're like, this is the worst thing ever. And then the boys made us go and do some touch in Rebel Sport. Oh, it was horrible. So we were standing there doing tram tracks, doing touch in Rebel Sport and looking like absolute fools. As actually, I completely forgot about it. That was one of the most embarrassing days of my life. It was shocking. So all the boys were like incognito, like blokes dressed in like sunglasses, like pretending to sit at cafes watching us look like absolute dweebs. Yeah, it was no good.
So what I heard was because you're first year players, no one really knows a first year player, especially on the Gold Coast. So you literally had to ask people if they wanted you asked to give it to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people were like, I remember we went up to one person and I was like, oh fuck. We've been stitched up. Do you want our autographs? We play for the Gold Coast Suns, and yeah, they kindly said no. So that made it even worse.
Oh, well, funnily enough, there's actually another story where you were very happy to give away your signature, mate. And this was also in your first year at your host family after a night out on the cordials. Apparently, you've come home, you've signed the light switch, you've signed the microwave, you've signed the pantry, to name a few. Can you enlighten us on this hilarious escapade?
Oh, my God. Yeah, no, I think it was like my first proper time out, like, on the beers. So I just turned 18 before I got drafted. And it was like the first, because I was in a host family, and shout out to my host family, they're awesome, Helen and Annalise, so they're still on the Gold Coast. But yeah, it was my first time sort of getting to know them, and everyone knows when you're had a few beers and you're a little bit more confident. So Annalise, my host sister, asked me if I wanted to get picked up. I think it was probably like, I don't know, 2 o'clock in the morning or something. And I was like, yeah, come grab me, that'd be awesome. And yeah, got home and was just overconfident. It was just like if you got a permanent texture, and was just ended up signing, I think, the coffee machine, the fridge and everything. I woke up the next day, I was like, what have I done? Anyway, Helen said she'd sell it on eBay for a bit of money because I signed it, but I think it probably gone down in price. So yeah, that was, forgot about that as well. Scully told you, did he?
Yeah, Scully and Joycey have definitely dipped their toes in these ones. So I'm very happy that goes down. Another one that we found out, mate. Now, I've been told to ask you about when you used to live next to a paddock that had a ram in it.
What? Who even told you this? My brother. What?
We have our sources, mate.
What? Who even
So-
knows about this?
So if you could enlighten us on the story.
I think I was about like 4 years old.
Yeah.
And we live next to this like massive paddock. I think there's houses there now, but back in WA, so it was like a massive paddock, and this paddock was like well known for this ram. It was like like the biggest thing with the biggest horns, like crazy. Like if you took one step in that paddock, you're gone. Anyway, I was like 4 or 5, I reckon. Me and my brother Jacob were playing basketball just at the front, shooting hoops. And the ball went over, and my older brother Jacob was like, "There's no chance I'm getting that." And me thinking I was a hero, went over and was like, "I'll be able to make it. Like I'll just run over, grab the ball, and like jump back over the fence." Nah, this ram came running from like 200 meters away, sprinting at me, and I think I froze. Anyway, it ended up hitting me like full pelt, and all I can remember is I think I pissed myself, and I was I got sent to the hospital. But I'm here today, so I got the better of the ram.
Well, the funny thing was, I've been told that apparently your dad tried to get revenge on the ram, but it didn't go so well. So can you enlighten us on that?
So I don't really remember this, but I can sort of remember. I'm pretty sure the ram found its way into the backyard, and yeah, Dad tried to get it out of the backyard, but apparently they were doing like, you know, in Scooby-Doo when they just chase each other around. Yeah, it was sort of like that, and yeah, the ram got the better of Dad as well. So unlucky Dad.
2-0 to the ram, apparently. So one of the last ones I have is, I'll give you the floor on this, but how had you met your missus that you've got these you've gone for about 4 years now? So the story on how you met your current missus.
Where are you getting this from? Yeah, Loz. Oh, pretty much just Instagram's a wonderful thing these days. It's just so easy just to message someone, and yeah, Loz popped up on the news feed, and I was like, holy moly, and then just messaged her on Instagram, and I'm surprised she replied because I'm pretty sure it was something cringy as, and it worked, boys.
Mate, we absolutely love that. So the funny thing is, and this will be my last question before I chuck over to Moose, we heard you love the redheads. You've even got a cat and a dog that are redheads. So I was just wondering personally, your love obsessions with redheads, was that something you've had your whole life, or has it blossomed since you lived with Skulls and Joycey?
That was just a coincidence. The coincidence that the cat's redhead and the dog's sort of in the same colour scheme. But nah, I think once I met Loz, I was, yeah, I don't know, just had a thing for redheads now. So my favourite musician's Vera Blue. She's gorgeous. Shout out Vera.
She watches.
She watches for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. So yeah, funny story.
I have absolutely no intel about you sliding into your current Mrs. DMs, but is there any sort of like remembrance of what you might have said? Because I'm very curious. What you
No way am I repeating what I said. It would have been cringy as.
I think Moose wants to know so he can use it.
Maybe it'll work. I'm surprised it probably worked, but well, it obviously did work, but yeah, it would have been so cringe.
Yeah, I'm not great with the internet dating, so I was hoping to really sharpen my tools just then. But the first stitch up I've got for you, Cal, is apparently you are the self-proclaimed king of Armadale from where you're from back in WA. Is there any truth to that?
Probably am, to be honest. Nah. Armadale, I don't know if you've heard about Armadale, but it gets a pretty bad rap. So yeah, look, shout out to the 6112. I'm not the king. Wish I was, but good place.
Well, we have a lot of watchers, a lot of viewers in Armadale, I can only assume. Now I'm going to go into your love and passions outside of football, and there are many, which I'm absolutely, I love hearing about this sort of stuff, about life outside of footy for you blokes. Now, your first love, your first passion, something that you were absolutely fantastic at was breakdancing. And we have heard that you made a breakdancing YouTube channel.
Did anyone send that? Did anyone send this in or no? This has to be my brother.
We weren't fortunate enough to see any footage, although we tried. so you're lucky. But do you want to just tell us a story about how that sort of went for you?
Well, if my brother sent this through, it's actually his fault because he's the one who set me up with an email address. And was like, yeah, use this email address for your YouTube account. And I was like, oh, okay, sweet. So I was just left to my own devices, just upload whatever I want. And yeah, foolish. I thought I could dance. I still can't dance. But made my own breakdance video, put it on YouTube. I think I was like maybe 9, 10 years old, and realized it was a bad mistake when the first comment was "you suck," and then took it down. So I had to take it down straight away. Oh, shocking.
I'm actually getting a bit of a Summer Heights High, Jonah from Tonga type vibe from these. Is there any battles with year sevens? That's the vibe I'm getting.
Oh, probably back in the day. I was a breakdance king too.
Oh, mate. And we've got a video for you here. This is not of the breakdancing, but it's another one. So I'll just give you a moment to have a watch of this video.
Oh, I knew it was going to be this.
Nah, if AFL doesn't happen for me, I'm hoping to do something within the likes of sports science, or maybe interior decorating sounds pretty good to me. So
Sorry, that was interior decorating.
yeah, so like
From sports science to interior decorating.
yeah, I don't know.
It's one's there and one's there.
So interior designing, interior decorating. Sorry, was that always a passion?
Oh, what the hell? I was thinking about this the other day, like a few weeks ago, and I was like, I really hope no one finds this. The interview's like 30 minutes long. How'd you find that? Oh, anyways, yeah. I don't even want to talk. Yeah, pretty much. I pretty much said. Brendan, my older brother, right, was getting into like, I think he wanted to get into like interior architecture, is what they called it. And me, I got put on the spot, and I was like, I didn't know what I wanted to be if I didn't play footy, and yeah, throughout interior decorating was the worst thing I ever said, and I'm so glad he stitched me up here, fella. Shocking interview. Don't watch it.
Apparently, you have absolutely never decorated any interior in your life.
You should see my house. It's pretty good, but yeah, I don't think I did one bit of the furniture. It was all logs. So yeah, I reckon if I was left to my own devices, it would be absolutely shocking. Yeah,
that is hilarious.
That's
That is so good. But I play the guitar, Cal, and apparently you do too. So, how long have you been playing for?
Oh, I'm okay at guitar. I'm not. I've gone through stages of up and down where I'm like, I'm loving it, and then sometimes I'm just like, nah, I don't want to play it ever again. But I started because all of my older brothers play guitar, so I thought when I got drafted, I would buy a guitar just so I had something to do in my spare time. So I bought an acoustic, and I played that for a few years. Sort of hit a few walls and sort of fussed around with it. And then I bought an electric guitar in Brizzy over the COVID break because there was nothing else to do. So I had to force myself to play it. And yeah, I just love music altogether. It's, I think with music, it brings back so much memories, of times when you've listened to songs in the car with your brothers and stuff. It sort of just brings back memories. And I would have loved to sort of live with the 70s vibe, 80s vibe. Would have been so cool. I love listening to sort of all that music. And
I'm the same. Yeah, I always listen to like 1950s and 60s like jukebox music, but I get what you mean by the like the on and off, because like I'll play for a few weeks, then I'll leave it for a few months, then get good for a few weeks, and then leave it for a few months. But you always kind of pick it back up. Now, apparently I just play the guitar, but apparently you can sing as well, and you were genuinely mistaken for Bruno Mars on a footy trip.
This bloke must have been blind because I wasn't singing. I remember, me, Scurry, me, Josh Schoenfeld, Jesse Joyce, Mackenzie Willis went to Thailand in our first year, and some bloke on the street, mistook me for Bruno Mars. So I was like, sweet, just go with it. But I don't, look nothing like each other. So that was.
Well, I would certainly take it as a compliment if I were you. Now, this stitch up is absolutely elite. I absolutely love this from your brother. I want to ask you about your original cover of Knocking on Kevin's Door.
Oh man, can you guys have him on this podcast?
We will.
So I can, make sure you get him on because
We certainly
I'm
will.
stitch him up. There's a video too. I don't know where it is. It was taken on one of those old video recorders, but again, I was like maybe 7. Thought I could sing. So I was sharing a room with my brother who's 2 years older than me. He's when we were young as, and we had bunk beds. And I think one of my brothers got like a microphone karaoke thing for his birthday or something. Anyway, this thing was long broken, like just didn't work anymore. Anyway, I was on the bunk bed. There was no microphone stand, so I had to sticky tape the microphone to the bottom of the bunk bed. The microphone didn't work, so I didn't know what I was doing. Didn't know how to play guitar. Had the guitar man, was singing Knocking on Kevin's Door because that's what I thought the lyrics were. And they got it on video through the crack in the door, and that was another embarrassing thing. Horrible. Kevin's Door, please.
Now, obviously, that's a cover of Guns N' Roses' Knocking on Heaven's Door. And your mum and dad secretly filmed it, obviously, but they reckon that you have destroyed the tapes. Is that just a conspiracy?
Nah, I don't think I've destroyed the tapes. That probably actually probably have. If that got let out, man, that'd be one of the most embarrassing things ever. So hopefully they are destroyed on some old hard drive in the shed of embarrassing times. I'm
really not liking our chances of getting a rendition here.
No chance, fellas. No way.
Well, that's all the stitch ups we have for you. So don't stress anymore. It's all been done. There's some absolute crackers in there. So we'd like, as you can tell, we could thank Joycey and Scholars and your brother for that. So we got a few more footy-based questions now. So growing up with your older brother, Brendan, was it very competitive when it came to having a kick in the park, or was the age gap a bit too big for you boys?
No, so I've got there's 6 of us, there's 6 boys. So I grew up with 3 older brothers, and a younger one. My youngest is he's got a big gap between all of us, but it was very competitive. All of us played sport, so I sort of I think I got the competitiveness from them guys. We just always everything was a competition from like gaming to anything. So got it from them, and then Bren was probably the one that started taking footy seriously, and then from there I sort of realised that I could probably follow footy as well, and so I started taking it seriously. So very competitive bunch of kids growing up, which probably helped me in the long run.
Absolutely, and a pretty special moment, not just for yourself but your family, happened this year when you were able to grace the field with your brother in a game of bragging rights. Could you talk me through that experience? Yeah,
it was weird because I've been in the system. This is my 5th year now, and we hadn't played each other since I got drafted, which was, it always seemed to, I think the one opportunity that we always got, someone either got injured or someone was sick or something like that, something ridiculous. So we finally got to play each other, and it was a big build up, just me and him talking trash to each other. And then in the game, we didn't really talk trash to each other that much. I felt like we were sort of both too focused on the game. But we did play on each other a fair bit, and we got the win. So I got the bragging rights, and it was an awesome experience. As much as it was pretty funny, it was something I always wanted to tick off.
Yeah, I read the article, and I saw that your father and your mother, they both have the West Coast and Brisbane gear on, so they would have been very proud watching that from afar. And then another one back in your junior year. So I was interested to know in your under 18, because I read you played for WA as a bottom ager and a top ager, and you were clearly touted highly because you were picked pick 8 in the national draft, but you were snubbed with the All Australian selection. So I was curious, like, what kind of played out that year, or if you missed the carnival, or how you didn't kind of get a selection?
Yeah, I think I played every game, but yeah, I just probably didn't have the carnival that I wanted to have. I probably played a couple games that I was really happy with. So I was happy with that, but I think we only won 1 or 2 games. So it was a bit hard at times, but yeah, I think for me it was probably a carnival that I probably didn't play my best footy, but I was happy that I probably showed enough and that I played some good couple games, I guess. So probably wasn't the greatest carnival.
Yeah, well, obviously you've done well because by the end of 2018, you got picked up at pick 8. But what was it like draft night? Were you expecting to go to the Gold Coast, and how was your reaction from family and friends?
It was weird. So the night before, I was talking to my manager and he said, because I had no idea that Gold Coast had any interest in me, because the meeting wasn't great at draft combine. But yeah, the night before, my manager said, yeah, Gold Coast might be a chance to take you at 8, and I was like, what? Like, holy shit, it's crazy. And then the next day in the paper, it had like a mock draft. I don't know what you call it. And I was at 8 to Gold Coast, so I was like, oh, obviously there's some talk going around. I was like, maybe there's a chance that I could go Gold Coast, like not fast. If I went to Gold Coast, I'd be stoked. But whatever happens, happens. And then Eade called my name out, and yeah, I ended up going to Gold Coast. So it was the biggest move in Australia, but yeah, it was a good 4 years.
That's interesting. So what was your interview like? Because I mean, I did try and make it, and we have a laugh about how I didn't, but I did have talk to a few clubs, and I got rinsed by Sydney when I spoke to them. Other clubs were good, but what happened with your interview?
Well, I just think with all the interviews, I think the sort of recruiting staff and whoever sits in just sort of want to see how you react to, I don't know, different situations. And I think I rocked up and there was probably like 20 people in the room, or close to it. It felt like it anyway. And it was at Etihad. And I think like a few of them were like just watching, I think the draft combine. Didn't even like say hello or anything. And I was like, oh no, this isn't going to be good. And then I think it was Dom Ambrosio and Scotty Clayton. Dom Ambrosio got me to the Lions. But yeah, it's just like hard-hitting questions. Most teams are like that with the hard-hitting questions. Just can you spell backwards, like count backwards from 100, things like that. It's just crazy. But yeah, I was so thankful that Gold Coast picked me up. And after the interviews, they're just normal people, and they ended up being legends and really good people who I still talk to today.
Absolutely. And as you said, you did make the biggest journey in football from the west side of Australia to east, where you find yourself moving in with Joyce and Scoers. And because they helped me with the stitch-ups earlier, I thought I'd give you the floor and stitching them back up. So did you have any funny stories that come out of living with those boys?
Yeah, I think I've got one on Joycey. Scully's just like clean slate, that bloke. He's one of the most professional guys ever. So he's just not going to do anything stupid.
Yeah.
Joycey, on the other hand, a little bit less, I guess. He sort of did what he wanted at times, but yeah, he was funny. We lived together a couple of years, maybe my second or third year. And we rented out like it was like a duplex. So it's like, you have like the house was like, one side was 1 story. So that's where we lived. And then on the other side was like 2 story. And they had, there was 2 girls, I think they're from Brazil, who were in the top story. So that we shared the house pretty much together. But it was split in half. But that backyard was, shared by us, so we had a swimming pool and stuff as well. And Joycey and Scully both single at the time, so I'm like, boys, like, might as well go and have a talk to them, like say hello and whatnot, get to know them and stuff. None of them said anything for like the first probably 2 months. I was like, this is shocking. Like, come on, this is the opportunity, boys. Gave them nothing. Then one night I came home and was like, Scully, like, where's Joycey? Like, it's late as. He's like, oh, he's upstairs. And I was like, what? Like, upstairs? Anyway, went upstairs and he was drinking wine with them one night. So finally got to know him. And then from there, it was pretty funny. Like, I think Joycey got a bit more confident. We used to have a pool cleaner, so no one really needed to clean the pools. But there were times, I remember one time when I walked out the back, Joycey full, all clothes off, just in Speedos, cleaning the pool in front of the girls upstairs. But like, Joycey, we've got a pool cleaner and the pool's crystal clear, mate. Like, what are you scooping up, brother? Anyway, so that's probably all I've got. But I don't know if Joyce got to know him more or whatnot. But yeah, I got nothing on Scully. They're both pretty clean. They're both pretty switched on blokes.
That's pretty funny.
Good year though.
I was hoping that you'd get something on Joycey, because when I did text him and we were having a laugh, I was like, man, eventually when we get you on, he's like, well, you'll have no stitch-ups on me because I'm pretty clean. So hopefully he watches this, and at least we got at least one thing.
That's all I could think of, boy. So hopefully, hopefully he gives it a watch.
I reckon
it's pretty funny.
The only thing that's clean is that pool.
Extra clean up for Joycey.
Now, the last question I have, and we absolutely love a spray, and no one gives them better than Rodney Eade. So I was hoping to see if you could give us an insight on if he ever delivered any at you, or was there any that you bared witness to?
Yeah, Rocket. I got a couple of sprays, I'll be honest. And they're probably rightfully so. But yeah, I remember one. I think Rocket. We were playing. I think it might have been Essendon or Collingwood at Eade had. And I remember. I won't repeat the language, but he said at 3/4 time, he's like, boys, like, we don't want to kick skinny. Like, we don't want to kick skinny this quarter. Like, try and get it in, like, to give our forwards a chance. Like top of the goal square type stuff. And I think I ended up kicking it skinny to Jackie Martin. And then after the game, I just knew it was coming. And yeah, text to the whiteboard type stuff, like, sprayed me. And yeah, rightfully so, because I didn't listen. But yeah, came as a pretty big shock.
Those are all my questions. So, Moosey, you're up, mate.
We actually love a spray here. And I think Rossi Lyon and Rodney probably give the best one. They're the most notorious. Now, the best coach in the world, though, is obviously Chris Fagan. Never met him, and I don't know him personally, but he's been like a father to me. So what's your relationship like with Chris Fagan?
Fags is, Fags is, the way he goes about it is just awesome. I think you obviously see from the outside what he's done for the club so far, and turned things around. Obviously, I wasn't there the previous years, but Fags is, someone who's just so passionate about the game, passionate about his players, and just making the club a family environment. And I think that's what you sort of need in a head coach these days. And he's been awesome for me. He's really backed me in this season, and like to think that I've got a pretty good relationship with him, and we can have honest conversations, which is nice. So Fags is a really good coach for myself, and obviously the boys thrive off the way he coaches as well, which is awesome.
You can kind of tell that he's backed you in as well, because I think you've played a few different positions this year, and it seems like they've got faith to sort of put you everywhere. So what's that process been like, and where do you feel like is your strongest positions?
Yeah, obviously playing at Gold Coast, I was predominantly a forward up until probably my last couple of years, where I've sort of played a little bit of wing and maybe a little bit of back as well. But yeah, obviously Fags and the club staff obviously know that. I've played different positions, so it's good that they have faith to be able to swing me down forward if they need. If there's an injury or anything like that, they're happy to play me forward. So I think the first time it happened was when we played against Richmond, when they beat us at Metricon. I think one of the boys went down. I can't remember who it was, or something. I can't remember, but I got thrown forward and felt pretty comfortable there. So I'm just happy to be able to play different roles and to be able to do it for the team when they need me to go down there. So yeah, I've been fine with that, and yeah, it's good that I feel comfortable with being able to play different roles.
Yeah, and it looks like you're really thriving in there as well, and thriving in the Brisbane environment. And on that note, are there any of the boys that you're particularly getting along with? Like, who have you gravitated towards, or who are your best mates at the club so far?
Yeah, I think being an Indigenous boy, every Indigenous boy probably say this. You sort of gravitate towards the other Indigenous boys. It's just sort of what happens. Everyone's sort of got stories to tell, and we're all similar in sort of the way we were brought up and stuff like that. So I've gravitated towards guys like Cam and Kadeem Coleman, who's in his first year, Charlie Cameron, all the Indigenous boys. But then I've obviously been playing down back and gotten pretty close to Brandon Starcevich, who's been awesome this year. He's been someone who's really thrived in his second year, but in his I think it's his third year now. He's really playing some really good football. So I've been getting along with him and Noah Answorth, who live with each other. And I was lucky enough to go through that OS with a bloke, Sammy Skinner. We sort of played footy as 18-year-olds together, so I'm really close with him as well, which has been really good for me.
That's good, man. It sounds like you've got some strong relationships already, and it'd be important, when you're not around your family and everything. And I've actually got a funny story here because when I went to boarding school in Ballarat, and I actually gravitated towards the Indigenous boys as well, even though I'm not Indigenous, because I was such a fuckwit that no one wanted to be my mate. And the only guys who would take me in and be my mate were the Indigenous boys that I was in the house with. And I was such good mates with them. And two of them were actually Jakey Eade and Don Barry. And your brother was good mates with Jakey Eade down at Port Adelaide. So shout out to Jakey. And I think they were pretty good mates, weren't they?
Yeah, no, they were really close, and Port do a really good job with that stuff. Their Indigenous side of things at Port is really good with Paulie Vandenberg. He does an awesome job. But yeah, Brennan, Jake and Eade were really close. I think they still talk today. So
yeah, no, I know he's real good mates with your brother, and then like Alapati Carlisle and that.
Yeah,
so and Chatty Wingard when he was down there. But there was a good little click there. And on that note, man, like when I was at boarding school and hanging out with those boys, one of the best things about it was that I got to learn so much about their cultures. And Daniel Rioli was in my house as well down there. Like
that's cool.
Some boys from the Tiwi Islands and Tennant Creek and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you to have your Indigenous heritage? And
yeah, it's my identity, I guess. It's something that's really important to me, and Mum and Dad have probably ingrained that in us as kids. How important it is. It's pretty much something to be extremely proud of. Like being Aboriginal is awesome because it's one of the oldest. It probably is the oldest culture in the world. It is the oldest culture in the world, living culture in the world.
Yeah.
So to be a part of that is really special, and you build so many relationships with other Indigenous boys around Australia. And I've been lucky enough to go through flying boomerangs with a lot of Indigenous boys who still play today, as Jade Gresham and Brandon Parfitt, guys like that. So it's awesome to see those guys succeeding. But to be Aboriginal is just so special to me, and it's something I'm going to hold very close to me as I grow older, and when I have kids as well, and instill it in them.
That's awesome, dude. And you can tell it's such a rich culture as well. And all of you boys, you take so much pride in it. And that's awesome. Keep donning the flag, man.
Thanks, brother.
Now, I've got to ask you about the Richmond game, obviously on the weekend, because I was at the game and it was just unbelievable. Because the first half, it was kind of neck and neck the whole time. And then at the start of the third quarter, I felt like Richmond were just kind of getting on top of you guys a little bit and maybe dominating in the midfield. And then you got something switched and the boys were just so good for that second half. I was just absolutely, it was electric. The feeling at the Gabba was amazing. First of all, how are you feeling leading into the game?
Yeah, for me, I think I was pretty nervous. I obviously hadn't played a finals game before, and I think most of the boys obviously played finals last year, so they sort of knew what it was like. But I was a little bit nervous, but as soon as the siren went, I was fine. And I think the Gabba, I think there was only was it 20 or so thousand fans there. But it was, the crowd noise was unbelievable. The support from the fans was crazy. And I think that really helps us when you feel like the Gab is sort of like a fortress. And the boys played extremely well. Like you said, we sort of came out in the second half and played real well. But I think big moment was probably in that second quarter. Richmond sort of throwing everything at us in the sort of second half of the second quarter, and we were able to kick 2 pretty big goals. I think with Lockie Neal and Cam Rayner kicked one from, I don't know, like 60.
That was ridiculous, that goal. Yeah,
oh,
unbelievable.
So good.
And Lockie Neal was that double 50-meter, right? And then he was like looking to give it off, and Richie was behind him, and then dobbed it from outside 50, and everyone was like, how did his little legs dob that?
It's unbelievable watching Chocky go to work. He's some of the stuff he does at training, and
is that Lockie Neal?
Lockie Neal.
Yeah.
Sorry,
No.
The way he goes about his footy, and sometimes I'm honestly on the ground and I'll say to my opponent, like, "Oh my god, like that was amazing!" Like, some of the stuff that he does is just crazy. So, I love watching him go about, and I think with the Brizzy boys, there's so many blokes that are just willing to play their role and get the job done. So, it was a really good win, and we've got one more to get next week. So.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you wouldn't be getting too ahead of yourself, but I am definitely getting ahead of myself. And I'm thinking Gabba, grand final, atmosphere. I'll probably be pestering you guys for tickets now that I loosely know you. But yeah, like the thought of having a grand final in front of the Brizzy crowd at the Gabba, like I'm dying with excitement. How does it make you feel? You're playing.
Yeah, well, I think that's the thing. It's sort of hard to get ahead of ourselves. Obviously, we've got a prelim to go. So I think just being able to obviously play the first final at home and play in front of our home fans was huge, first of all. And then to be able to play again in a prelim, I think it's just going to be, something that's going to help us so much. I think having our fans there is an awesome thing, and they've supported us all this year. And like I said, the Gab is sort of becoming a fortress now, and I don't think we've lost a game there yet. So it's fantastic, and hopefully we can do it. Hopefully we can get to the grand final, and it'd be awesome having a grand final in Brisbane.
Yeah, crazy. Man, of course. And you've and your brother as well, actually, and you've both sort of had quite like storied careers, been to different clubs and everything, and you got snubbed for the All Australian under-18 squad, and you both had a lot happening. From your perspective, what would be a good piece of advice that you'd give to somebody coming into the AFL system in terms of what to expect, how to make it, how to be professional, and all of that?
I think first of all, probably just to, I guess, there's obviously pressure in your 18th, in your sort of draft year, but I think probably just to not put much pressure on yourself. I think that was probably the problem with me going in. Obviously there's obviously a lot of outside pressure, and I think I probably took that in too much, and then added probably that pressure from myself onto it. So I reckon just enjoy your footy, being in the present, and just enjoy playing footy with your mates, because they're probably the best years, just playing, club footy, playing local footy, and they're special times. So I think just embrace that, because it's really exciting, and whatever happens, I guess. Obviously work hard, but just enjoy the moment. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, it's funny actually how much we get that response. We had Josh Battle on last week, and we had a fan who actually came and interviewed him on the podcast as a little promotion that we did. And he said the same thing, just enjoy it. So it's great advice. And unless Poncho's got anything, that's about all from me, brother. I'm sure you've got plenty to do.
Easy. There you go.
I was just going to say, honestly, thank you so much for coming on, and especially like this period in your life. You've got finals coming up and giving us the time, because it's really, really valuable. So thank you from us. I hope you enjoyed the stitch ups, because we like sick, but I hope you had a good time, and really all the best for this week. Next week's prelim, mate. I'll be watching very closely.
No, I love it, boys. Yeah, thanks for having me, and I look forward to hopefully get my brother on in the next year or so or whatever. But I want to stitch him up, so make sure you get that happening. But yeah, appreciate it, and yeah, it was good to talk to you, and wish you all the best.
Thanks very much, mate. We really appreciate it. And obviously, best of luck. I'll be at the game cheering you on. Go the Lions. Callum Ah Chee, ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much.